Yo, what's poppin', everybody? How y'all doing out there today? Welcome back to the podcast, another episode of Caffeine and Green with your man, Conor Cardenas. And before we get into it today, man, I just want to give a huge shout out to the title sponsor of Caffeine and Green, which is Seven Seas Roasting Company, coming straight out of San Diego, my home roaster. Now, what makes this roastery so sick is that we get to work with these farmers. We're not just getting these coffees, we're working with them directly and making sure that everybody's taken care of. So we're not taking care of just the consumer, we're taking care of that farmer as well. So it's really awesome. We get to showcase these coffees. Now, full transparency, I am the head roaster at Seven Seas. But regardless, you know that the coffee that I'm giving you is straight fire, yo. So if you head over to the website, sevenseasroasting.com, use my code C and G at checkout, you're going to get 3 bags of coffee for $30. That's an amazing deal because 2 bags of coffee is essentially $32. So you're getting a bag for free. It's a no-brainer. So you can go over to the website, choose from any of the coffees that we have, like our dark Guatemala, which is chocolatey and it's full-bodied. It's a little bit of our dark roast. And it's just, we have other options. We have a Peruvian, we have our Lao coffees, the Fodom Quan, our new Lao, and Setapung as well. So we got options, people. So use that coffee code C and G at checkout, and you'll be good. My guest today, Sergio Garcia of Chicano Soul. I had a wonderful time talking to Sergio. I just want to say that right off the bat. Sergio is the true definition of a man who is out there every single day, living his passion, doing what he's doing, and hustling. I have the utmost respect for him. It was such a great conversation because it touched on so many different avenues and so many different subjects in terms of passion, energy, getting out what you're putting out there, just getting back what you're putting out there from the universe, and exposing every single person, not just a niche market of a Latino culture, but exposing every single person that he comes into contact with to what it is to really understand who Sergio is, to understand his food, to understand the message that he's getting out there with Chicano Soul Food. And yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but this was a great conversation. We were vibing, and the underlying theme of the whole conversation was energies. And I really believe that, if you're positive in what you're putting out there, you're going to get it back. So come join us this Sunday, July 14th at Seven Seas Roasting. Chicano Soul Food will be out there starting at 9 a.m. until they're sold out, if you feel me, sold out. But yeah, Sergio, Chicano Soul Food. This your time to shine, homie. Let's go. Caffeine and Green. It's your boy Conor. What's good? Good. Caffeine and Green. And we are live. Sergio, my man.
What up?
Welcome to Caffeine and Green, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Fuck yes. Tell the people who you are. Tell the people that awesome name that I heard you say right before we were doing sound check.
Oh, my name is Sergio Garcia Manriquez. The name of the project is Dos Tierras, and our slogan or tagline is the Chicano Soul Food Project.
Yes.
Dos Tierras is just indicative of my experience, being of Mexican descent but born in the U.S., but also California, Michoacan. There's a lot of people out here with their own Dos Tierras experience, and a Chicano Soul Food project. It just felt right. I didn't want it to just be limited to like a restaurant or Chicano Soul Food burrito or Chicano Soul Food tacos, even though that's what our forte is. I just wanted to have an all-encompassing, word and project was it.
Dude, that's sick. So Chicano Soul Food, that's what everybody sees you at. That's how I've heard about you. Mm-hmm. That's how I came to meet you, actually. They were like, yo, this is Sergio from Chicano Soul Food. And I'm like, bro, I've seen you working with coffee shops around at Latte Art Throwdowns or even at a cupping at Inter-American.
Right.
And then just other events around town. But everybody's like, yo, you got to meet this dude. And I'm like, fuck it. Dude, as soon as I met you, bro, it was like, I felt like I hit it off with you immediately. I'm like, dude, I don't even know this dude. Yeah, but that's fucking sick. And that's why you're here today.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate the good vibes always,
Yes.
And obviously I had to come and, share the story, you know, when you
Yes.
ask, because, you know, I feel like, you know, we hit it off because we have some of those childhood memories, you know, even though different grandmothers, I think similar experiences, similar feels, you know?
Well, it's the culture, man. It's like you grow up in a Mexican household, you know, born in Mexico. I'm sure it's different, but born definitely in the United States. If you have a traditional Mexican family, it's a kind of a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
And I thought it's just, you know, a lot of people first, when they first meet me, they don't think like I'm Mexican, but then they see a picture of my pops and they're like, yo, what? That's your dad? And I'm like, yeah, bro, that's my pops. But, you know, a lot of my cousins are like light skinned as well, like white essentially, because we all have like either white moms or obviously white moms. And then there's like seven brothers all together. My dad's one of 7.
Oh, right on.
And it was, dude, everybody is so dark and all the kids came out so white.
Yeah. They skipped a generation.
Dude, guarantee. But like we got like I feel like we got like that dark ass hair, just like, because everybody in my family has hella dark hair, but then my mom's like a ginger.
Really?
Dude, yeah.
She was a ginger.
Yeah, hella freckles.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, man, because I mean, people, you know, at the first glance, they don't really perceive me as to be quote unquote Mexican, which is an interesting, you know, conversation in its own. And I've gone Afghani, Italian.
Afghani?
Yeah, Puerto Rican, like somewhere, you know, in that Mediterranean Basque region.
Interesting.
And, you know, I did do a little research on my last name, the family shield. This is, you know, a classroom project, and it makes sense, you know.
Okay.
It makes sense. If you see my grandfather, I mean, dude, he could just fit right in and no one even know the difference. It just, you know, instead of Farsi, he'd be speaking Spanish, you know.
Oh, shit.
You know?
Dude, as everybody, like a bunch of my homies who are like Filipino, they always get mistaken for Mexican. Have you ever gotten mistaken for Filipino?
No, not so much. You know, not so much. But there are regions of Mexico where, you know, that indigenous, you know, that influence, you know, if you weren't in Mexico, you wouldn't really know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That there's so many similarities. But no, I haven't been confused for Filipino. Everything else but Filipino.
Dude, what I like about Filipino families, my wife, she's full-blood Filipino. And as soon as I went to her house in Hawaii, I met her extended family, and then I met like the aunties and the uncles and then the cousins and then like other cousins, like a third cousin or something like that. And on both sides of her family, because her mom and her dad are full-blood Filipino, dude, they roll just like Mexicans. Just like a Mexican family. Big and deep and just hella loving. But like at the same time, like you're hella close with all your cousins. And you have a lot of the same similarities. So that's why I was saying the similarities is like, I relate to that.
That's a beautiful connection, you know. That's a beautiful connection that I think is fading out now. That sense of family community or community family feel where, you know, you do hang out with all your cousins and, you know, and create that bond, that family bond. And, you know, interestingly enough for me growing up in Watsonville, just south of Santa Cruz, I was able to experience that bond between Filipino and Mexican, you know, with all the agriculture that was going on over there. And some of my best friends were growing up were, you know, Filipino, and as a curious soul and definitely curious palate, I remember trying stuff at, you know, a very young age, Filipino oriented, that just kind of gave me some memories, you know, of the culture. And it's funny now, like I just got back with from a trip out in New York, and the food I did out there wasn't my food. It was my friend's Filipino food.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
It was, you know, so when you mentioned seasick earlier, I was like, dude, I got down, you know.
Dude,
like,
what, is that what you made while you were out there?
Yeah, I had a series of different, you know, dishes that were her recipes, but it was a dinner party in which they wanted to see her replicate those recipes because it was a cruise line that they're trying to do more like cultural food, not just like the typical cruise line buffet, but on this one cruise liner, they're trying to invite chefs and restaurateurs to come in with their flavor. But
sick.
The cool part for me was to be able to give that little Chicano Soul food experience, you know, my Watsonville experience in New York, and just do some plays on seasick. You know, we did almost like a mole, but not, you know, on the seasick.
Okay.
And we served it in a tortilla that I put together with achiote and a touch of citrus, which mimics, cochinito pibil, which is a dish from the Yucatan, and it's really rad, man. There's a lot of similarities, like you said. We forget that Spanish, colonized and conquered both. So
they did, yeah. That hell is true.
yeah,
That's facts.
yeah. So they were, importing and exporting humans, unfortunately, But with that came the different practices, techniques, flavors, experiences. And I think that connection's it's pretty rad, and that's why I like using the broad word Chicano soul food. Like I feel like using the word authentic Mexican just kind of keeps you. It's kind of rigid for me,
Okay.
Because what is authentic,
Well, especially in San Diego, everybody can put like authentic Mexican food, authentic cucina, or like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's always an authentic there. I mean, be able to separate yourself on a key word and really not only get the point across, but also bring some, pun intended, soul to it.
Yeah.
Like, that's really good because you need to. That's how people really succeed. You got to separate yourself from the pack in a saturated market. You're in San Diego where there's a million Mexican food spots, but when you hear Chicano soul food, that shit stands out. I mean, it's like, what? Like, wait, what was that? And then you see the menu and you see what you're offering, and you make everything. You have vegan options, and you have like regular food, but you make everything, and you have natural ingredients, and that's what we were vibing on when I first met you. And that's how we got into talking about like Chef's Table and all these other crazy documentaries. And then you had mentioned to me the one thing I wanted to ask you this first, and then we can get into the origin story of Chicano soul food. Yeah. But you had mentioned that you traveled through Mexico, and you that's how you got inspired with the food, with the dishes that you're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where did that start?
Well, the thing that I was actually thinking about that the other day, because I was asked from a friend to create, a little historical or a little biography of the why of Chicano soul food, and I told her to just give me some time because it's deep. For me, it's very, very deep and personal, because although Chicano, the term has had for some people in especially California, Arizona, Texas, they identify themselves as Chicano very proudly, but then there's this other group of people who don't, and then there's always this, I don't know what to call it. It's not a confusion. It's just like a dissection of what Mexican American is, what Chicano is, what Latino is, and then it's just I found solace with my family. So my being Chicano, it's understood that it's Mexican rooted. So although, but my recipes are very Mexican rooted. There's no like second guessing, like, dude, this dude's doing like Mexican inspired food. Yeah. But my California experiences, and then the fact that I was able to travel to Mexico and Cambodia and Singapore and Malaysia and Morocco. Sick. Those were my opportunities that I was able to experience while being quote unquote an American, So those those food memories that I had visiting those countries and then Mexico and the different states, it fueled my wanting to appreciate my grandparents and how I was raised with that Mexican root, like scratch cooked, whole ingredient, not processed, bring that back, but then bring the food a little bit more forward with the embracing of other cultures. My tacos are a little different, they're the tortilla, there's some protein, and for the vegans there's vegetables, and there's the cilantro aspect and the onion aspect, and sometimes some pickled elements and a sauce. But nice. I've taken those main ingredients and just gave them a little spin, where I have the fried onions and pickled bean sprouts and doing a sauce made with habanero instead of the played out mango and salsa, pineapple, which it has sweet heat, but I feel like the thoughtfulness of the beet, an underutilized and underappreciated vegetable. It's sweet but earthy, and I think that's the experience of of living in California and really like experimenting with those flavors. But you know, habaneros as Mexican as they come.
Oh
you
yeah,
know what I
man.
mean? Yeah.
It's the best.
You know?
It's so hot, and you get those orange ass habaneros too.
Yeah.
Oof, they'll blow your face off,
Yeah,
man.
bro.
Damn,
Yeah.
dude. But so, where like you grew up in Watsonville,
Yeah.
and did you from Watsonville decide to go through Mexico and travel and do that, or?
Well, that traveling through Mexico was actually something that was happening in my youth. So my parents are from Michoacan, and they made it a point for us to go. What we know over here as spring break, we know over there in Mexico as Semana Santa, and in Semana Santa, you know, it's Holy Week. So they would make it a point for us to experience that, man, and it was gangster, bro. Like I remember, like grown men being hung on crosses, and this was real. This was when this wasn't a reenactment. It wasn't like
Yeah.
you know, a Nickelodeon special that you would see over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, and like it was so real and raw, but so was the food. You know, I remember going because back then and still today, it's kind of rough going from California straight down to TJ and into like central Mexico. The route has been a long time to go through Arizona, New Mexico, and then dip down through Texas. So I remember those road trips, and then I remember we eating, you know, weirdly enough, eating at these stalls. So that curiosity was already there as a young kid, 5, 6, 7 years old.
Oh damn.
And then I moved to San Diego 17 years ago to go to San Diego State, got my major in international business, did some, you know, fun projects in my 20s, and towards my latter 20s is when I kind of had the realization that I really enjoyed the curiosity of culture and flavor. And I knew that in order to understand it, I had to get my hands literally in it. So I decided to forego basically a CEO position for believe it or not, I used to be a windmill technician for natural energy, dude. I used to service and maintain wind turbines, bro.
What?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
It was crazy, you know. It was really cool, but it just wasn't me, you know. And
yeah. You need to follow like your passion, your heart, something that you could wake up every day and be like, I'm fucking proud of this.
Yeah, it was just more like, dude, like I see my grandma cooking less and less, so her recipes were harder to come by, and I always enjoyed food, and I was like, dude, like that's what kickstarted it, you know. That's what kickstarted it, and then
because your grandma,
because of my grandma, my aunts. So
that's so sick.
So when I would go to Mexico, when I wasn't in Mexico, my family all immigrated through my dad's household, my dad's side of the family. So my grandma, his mom, would always come through, and back in the day, they didn't really, you know, customs wasn't as harsh as they are today. So they were able to bring tons of food, bro, like all these flavors, these longanizas, like it's like a chorizo, longanizas, they even brought carnitas and that Mexican, you know, which is so crazy. So I got that experience of having, you know, my family, someone in the house always cooking. My poor mother, you know, was a horrible cook, not because she was a horrible cook, but she didn't have to cook, you know, like, you know, I had aunts who picked up, and I actually had an uncle who, you know, may he rest in peace. He was a phenomenal cook. And that, like I said, that was a kind of that's what started it. Coming to San Diego and missing it is what really like, dude, I miss it. I had been cooking at French, Italian, Pan-Asian, sushi restaurants, and, you know, I was never really encouraged to do the Mexican food, you know. They're like, nah, you know, you need to do Mediterranean, you need to do French, that's what's sexy right now. And I realized that the Mexican food experience in San Diego is as great as it is, it's limited.
Yeah.
And
well, quality it's
just
like,
different.
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
I mean, because every like, you know, to bring it back to what I said earlier was like, there's so many Mexican spots in San Diego, but everybody can have like a refried bean spread or like bean, cheese, and rice or whatever have you. So to really bring some dynamic flavors that are not just a processed something that's processed that everybody has,
correct,
is really. It stands out, and it actually brings that quality of what you're talking about. But then you have, like you said, other influences from other countries.
Yeah.
Like I hear the pickled things. I think like Vietnam or
dude,
like
yeah,
banh
that
mi.
Totally. That was the inspiration, you know. And believe it or not, when growing up, going to the quinceañeras in Mexico and the weddings, I remember that, you know, Michoacan is heavy on hog, and my grandparents, a fourth generation farmer. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So that ingredient, that wholesome ingredient, has been ingrained in my palate as a kid. And it was such a trip because I could tell the food difference between the American food and the Mexican food. Like something simple as the sour cream, the cheese, the ham, the milk. There was a distinct flavor. And not that one was better than the other, but one just felt like, obviously the Mexican foods make me feel like home, you know, like home. And like I said, that's what kickstarted like the curiosity. And while in my culinary journey, I came across a taco company and was working for them. And when we parted ways, I knew that summer my daughter, I was going to introduce her to her great grandparents, and I took her with me to Michoacan, and she has her grandparents, her other set of grandparents out here in California as well. So my parents brought her back, and it gave me the opportunity. You know, I had just, you know, opened up a window, a time frame where I can just do whatever I wanted. You know, I wasn't in a hurry to come back to work. So with a buddy of mine from here in San Diego and one of my original business partners in the project, we that was you know, about 7 years ago. No, not even that long. Like 4 years ago, we did that 7-state tour through, you know, Michoacan and Guanajuato, San Luis Potosí.
Chicano Soulfood did that.
I didn't know what Chicano Soulfood, dude. I didn't. That was
just you going down there with your family.
Yeah, that would just be by myself. Him and I rented a car and we just booked. My family came back to Cali and dropped. You know, my daughter came back with them to hang out with her other grandparents before she flew back home with her mom. So at the time, you know, I had this notion of these guisados, you know, because I missed it. That's the traditional, you know, braising that's missing, I feel like, here in San Diego.
Can you explain that to people who might not know what that is?
Okay, so a guisado is basically, you know, stewed, something that's stewed. So almost a beef stroganoff is almost like a guisado, except it has pasta, but you slowly braise the beef, and then you add flavors, and you let it slow, and, you know, let it go low and slow. And that's that for me was like the avenue that I wanted to attack, because not only does it was there, I saw opportunity, but it's an element in which of cooking, a style of cooking which you can really build flavor. And it's also a survivalist method for those who can't afford, you know, expensive cuts of meats.
Okay.
So braising was something we did a lot. We grew up poor, but we grew up eating good. You know, lots of veggies, tons of veggies, a little bit of meat, you know, but they were cooked in this guisado. You know, sopa is technically a guisado, so people know fideo. Fideo is a type of guisado. It's a pasta guisado.
Okay.
You know, some people know calabacitas, which is you know, zucchini with the tomato paste, and or, you know, that's another guisado. And, you know, beans, you know, the refried beans, it's slow and slow. You know, the vegan beans that I do are a type of guisado. So it's really a braising and taking whatever ingredient that you're using, and you're imparting flavor by cooking it slow, which is, you know, very, very different from like the carne asada, the pollo asada, the adobada al pastor that's like prolific here in San Diego.
What about the parrilla?
The birria is definitely, you know, most people, when I tell them birria, they there's a recollection. They understand birria.
Dude.
So that's a quintessential guisado.
Yeah.
But we do, like, you know, we take birria, and then we add sweet potato and then collard greens, and then we have a different, you know, we have a different guisado that, yes, it's meat. And that's a whole nother topic of conversation.
Yeah,
of, like, getting attacked by the vegan community.
Dude, it's all good.
You know what I mean? But it is an opportunity to impart a little bit of nutritional value for that one taco by adding sweet potato and you know, collard greens.
Dude, that's amazing.
You know?
That's one thing I really wanted to talk about too. Is for me, when I eat healthy, I want the greens. I want the, you know, and that's something that really struck a chord with me when you were like, I use natural ingredients.
Yeah.
So when you're planning a menu, now, does the menu rotate? Is it?
Yeah. When I first started this business, I was gung ho, man. I had a little cart. So what's crazy about the journey is I didn't know that Chicano Soul Food was going to be born. I just know, I knew that I wanted to do something with my culture's food. And on that trip, on the very first state that I visited, Guanajuato, I copped my cart. Like, I went to go have a green juice. I sat down and I peeked in the kitchen, and I saw this machine I had never seen before. And I was like, where'd you get that? And she was kind enough to point me towards the engineer. And then boom, I had the prototype.
What?
I had my prototype
On your first stop in Mexico.
My first stop in our journey, up north.
Up north. Okay.
Yeah, well, we started in Michoacan. My family's in Michoacan, so we started in Morelia, and then we ended up in Guanajuato. And then on our first little spot where, we were gonna have lunch, I was like, it was right there.
Damn.
And I worked it out where I was able to get another one fabricated and then shipped to TJ, and then I crossed it, and
sick.
I was just stoked to have this little vehicle, dude, like this cooking mechanism, you know what I mean? Yep. I've been blessed to work in, it sounds bad, but really shitty kitchens. And what I mean by that is like the food comes out delicious, but the equipment that we use is like,
grungy.
It's not that it's grungy. It's not like what I feel it could be, because the restaurateurs focuses were on other aspects of their business. But we learned how to make miracles. And with that little cart, I was like, dude, like this is really cool. And, my friend and I were joking around like, dude, we could do hot dogs, and dude, we could slide in anywhere. It's like a little car, not even a truck. So slide dogs, dude, we could be little slide dogs. So that's the original name of this Chicano Soul.
Los Slide Dogs?
Dos Tierras wasn't until later. It was Los Slide Dogs,
That's
and
sick.
Then I had my cousin who just graduated from actually the Oakland School of Art, and I want to throw him a little bone. I was like, dude, I got this idea for this character, and there's this character known as Woof Woof Zoot Suit.
Woof Suit?
Yeah, you look him up on Looney Tunes. He's a suave little, Chicano character, dude, who's all pachucoed out, you know what I mean?
Oh, shit, I haven't heard that term in a minute.
And he's the slide dog, so we created a little character out of that slide dog, and the project was fun. Little slide dogs. Dude,
like bacon wrapped hot dogs or what?
We started I started doing bacon hot dogs, but like, dude, way deconstructed. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it was deconstructed. Yeah.
Okay.
So I started
That's
with
sick.
a couple of guisados and then the hot dog. So the hot dog consisted of a French baguette from a really awesome Cambodian baker. Believe it or not,
Sick.
down in City Heights. So it was French baguette, and then I did a lemon mayo that would put on the bread, and then instead of going with like a salsa fresca, I did a cactus, a salt cured cactus.
What?
And a harissa ketchup. Harissa is an Indian ingredient, that gives a little spice to food, and I decided to put in the ketchup, so it was that. And then instead of just using bacon, what I did is I blended up some chicharron, and I created a bacon schnitzel. So it was, and the hot dog was butterflied. It was grilled on both sides. Dude, it was insane, bro. It was insane. But the funny thing is that I told myself, when I create this business, it's a non-compromise to have at least 2 vegan options.
Okay.
What inspired that was cooking in the industry, and seeing how neglected the vegan market was, and people with food allergies was. Dude, it's crazy, man. I remember cooks throwing pots and pans in the bag because they'd be pissed off. They gotta cook like some gluten-free something, and in this journey too, I had a really great friend in college who's, because of his health difficulties, the things he could eat was very limited, and he reached out to me, and that's when I really started like connecting the dots. Yeah, I did more like connecting the dots with what we were eating and how we were eating and the amounts we were eating and nutrient density, and then all that was kind of playing in my head, and then seeing, kind of believe it or not, the discrimination that people with food allergies or preferences would face, and options, and that was all that's all been part of like the Chicano Soul Food. I wanted to create that where, I had to second out, like, all right, hot dogs, like, fuck, hot dogs. I know the realities of how they're made and, and everything. So when the project was kicked off, I did, but then I stopped doing them, and I started gearing myself more towards the vegan options. And then, the meat is not organic, not, grass-fed. I didn't anticipate or intend to just be an exclusive vegan vendor. Yeah. That was just something that came up because what I do vegan is delicious, like it's delicious. But there was a market that I knew that I wanted to serve that couldn't afford the grass-fed,
Of course.
And my goal was to be the transition dude, where I'm not selling the processed food, highly processed, or ultra processed, you know, with the hot dogs and the Takis and, you know, the flaming hot Cheetos with the corn and all that. It's got its place, but, you know, like for me it was more of like nutrient density. It sounds weird, but like how can I nurture?
Well, yeah, but I mean that's the whole purpose of soul food too. I mean, and from what I've seen, you know, what is traditionally known as soul food is that people make food that's, you know, that's made with love essentially.
Yeah.
And in the African American community, they have, you know, the collard greens, the fried chicken, these things that are delicious foods. But then having the name Chicano in front of it, and then you're making food that's nutritious and nutrient dense, and it's taking care of the people as opposed to like giving them something that's like lathered in butter or super processed.
Yeah.
It's you're giving that, you're feeding that need, and you're also not neglecting half of your market. I mean, maybe not half, maybe like a quarter, but it's growing in more people.
It's an evolving, a conscious market, you know.
Exactly.
There's a conscious market, you know, that I wanted to encourage, you know, to inspire, you know, maybe the next generation will pick up, you know, some ideas from there and want to open up a, you know, all vegan Mexican startup, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It just wanted to be able to provide an option, dude, like at the end of the day, because everybody likes to eat. And that's what would sadden me when, you know, when I would see that this is weird, the discrimination that these people who just wanted a decent meal but had food allergies is like, dude, like, that's discrimination, bro. You might as well say, I'm not going to feed people who are black. You know what I mean? Or people who are brown.
No,
you know what I mean?
I get you,
and
yeah.
I was like, whatever, it's weird. It didn't make me feel right. So I wanted, you know, this project to be able to be an opportunity to, like, whatever your food sensitivities are, like, you can have a decent meal.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, you're also, again, you're taking care of people. So that actually leads me to my next question is that when you're cooking, I mean, you know, being a coffee roaster, I honestly, you know, being so close to what's going on in the shop every day, I feel like either if I can't have some headphones in to kind of get the vibe started on what I'm feeling, and then the music that I'm listening to in the shop, it honestly affects how I believe how the coffee is made and the energy that you're putting in.
Absolutely.
When you're cooking, do you like go based on like a vibe that you were feeling that morning, or is it like every day you got this one track you want to start it out?
It's all, I mean, that's the beauty of music, dude. Like, and music has definitely propelled me, you know, as far as like my energy levels, because I like feel like food. You said the memory, and what I call a palate memory, where you remember, but not only you remember, but it transforms you, and it what is it? Like it teleports you back to that time. I feel like music is the same.
Okay.
You know, and like oldies was a big part of my upbringing, you know, like that was just the neighborhood music what we listened to. And then, you know, you had the cumbias, and then you had the banda and the mariachi and the boleros and the rancheros and the norteño. And, you know, I'm paisa, bro. You know what I mean? Like I really am. You know, like
I fuck with that. That's so sick.
It's and then being there and experience that in Mexico with the, you know, trombones and the horns and the bulls. You know, and it wasn't it was bull riding. You know, it wasn't spearing the bulls, which that's you know, that I have respect for everybody's hustle, but I really enjoy like, you know, all that. So it depends on the mood. When I'm prepping, then the music's got a little bit, you know, it's got a little pump, you know, it's got to have a little bit of the old school hip hop, Rage Against the Machine. You know,
okay.
Punk, you know, like that's
so
that's
like a solid like just shuffle playlist, or do you have like a go-to playlist?
No, not shuffle, man. It's just like what I'm feeling. But when I'm like creating and crafting and like actually getting my hands in the food, bro, I oldies or I'm doing something slow, you know what I mean?
All right,
like,
you're really like feeling it out.
Yeah, dude, it's so weird, you know. But
that's sick. No, it ain't weird. That's fucking. I fuck with that because that's how I feel when I'm roasting the coffee. If I'm trying something new, like I really like I'm sipping on something, like I gotta feel it. Be like, all right, I need to make up this blend, or I need to think of an idea. You know, sometimes I just need to like go and get outside and go super fast on my skateboard, or like that's what I did today, or do something else to kind of be able to create. Sometimes I can't, like when I was younger, I used to be able to like smoke a J and then just like go off and trip out. And then I'd be like, oh, I got the idea.
Yeah.
But now it's like, maybe sometimes that'll just put me in a different state I don't want to be in. I want to like actually feel like how am I going to be able to like get how I'm feeling out and what I really want to describe through my coffee. So like, I can totally I can totally relate to how when you're like really just trying to prepare or create something, you slow it down and you really just go into that vibe where, for me, there's a song that I know, like if I'm cooking, I always want to hear is "Never Leave Me Alone" by Snoop Dogg and Nate Dogg.
That's Nate Dogg, dude. He's the man. Everybody was trying to sing like Nate Dogg back in the days. That's 90s, man.
That's like that old school hip hop. I loved it. And then they had they honestly had like a cholo style, but they're like how they were wearing their Dickies and everything like that. So I totally fuck with that. That's so sick. Like, what gets you inspired? Is it still thinking back on past events, or do you go out in San Diego? Do you go travel and you still look for inspiration?
All the time, dude. I look for inspiration all the time because, people say that food is an art, but in my opinion, the cooking is a craft. Like any woodworker, like any DJ, a DJ is always out there listening to music. So, a DJ. A craftsman. Or a woodworker is always looking at buildings at a certain way, and for myself, I'm always looking for inspiration, what's in the market, what can be evolved, what did I see in TJ that I really enjoyed, and or where I'm in Michoacan or anywhere I visit, I'm constantly looking for inspiration, even music, like, dude, that song's so sick, I've never heard it before. Now it's a part of my playlist,
Yep.
And it opens up my mind, and for those long hours, it's clutch.
Yeah.
I call on music and call me crazy, but I call on my grandfather's spirit, on the real late nights where I got, I have to push out this catering, and it's just like, I'm not I don't party like that, you know what I mean? Or I just, it puts me in a different level when I'm cooking, when you're cooking, you don't want to mess with that. And so I call on my grandfather's spirits, dude, and it's so crazy because sometimes when I'm cooking on the late nights, 3:30 in the morning, like I feel like a chill when I'm like, abuelito, I need you. I need to bust this out, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And that white song comes on and it reminds me of him, and then like
sick.
And then it's crazy, dude. It's unexplainable, but like these
what's the energy?
Yeah,
it's
bro.
the energy,
it's
bro.
Crazy energy makes my skin stand up. Like, you here, huh? You here? All right, we're gonna do this.
You're gonna get through this shit. This is what's up.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Dude, that's so sick. Like that energy part for me is like dude. It goes back to music every time. You can't create without the music, and I feel like there's some things that for me, I think we might have touched on this when we first met, but like there's this one moment, like I remember my dad showed me, like it was like a cassette tape, and it was two like skeletons, like Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah.
But they were like they were wearing like a black suit, but it was like painted on top, and it was like a woman and a man, and but she had like a red fucking rose in her ear, and he's like, hey, like you got to listen to this. Is your culture right here. And it was like mariachi music and like other types of music, but just like love songs in Spanish. And that always stuck with me, and I didn't like listen to it all the time, but like every family gathering, every family function, it was always whatever. But now when I think back on it and I hear cumbia or I hear salsa or anything, mariachi music, I'm just like, when I was younger, I was always kind of like, is this cool? Like, I don't know, because like, especially growing up in the States, I remember just not like, I would always hear Spanish at my house, but at school I'd only hear English, and I was like, what's the deal kind of thing. And then my name would trip me out. People would be like, Kano or Connor. It's like Kano, like what, whatever. But it was all these things like growing up with my dad, it like, I think back now and I'm like fond of them.
Yeah. My dad, I remember as a little kid, we were riding in the back of the car, ¿Qué son? Americano, Mexicano. And we would say, Mexicano, we'd be like, hey, Americano, no. Like, like, not that he was trying not to be unpatriotic, but I think he really emphasized at an early age is not to forget our roots, you know what I mean? My parents have lived in this beautiful country now and made a life here. But there was something said about roots, like don't forget it. And that music, it brings you back. So I was lucky enough to experience some of that music live in Michoacan, and it's just it's vibrations, bro. You know what I mean? It's vibrations, and those vibrations, I think, stir certain memories like a palate does. That puts you back in that time, and
like a genetic memory or something, because of like the way your parents experienced it, and then you came from your parents, so you already
predisposed
yeah, to liking these songs, or like it strikes a feeling in you that, I mean, because you came from your parents, like
it's
that
a sensation.
Yeah, it comes back. It's like, oh, what? Like I fuck with it.
Yeah,
Dude, no, I think that's so sick. Now, so I mean, we've been touching on like how Chicano culture is like being brought through your food and all these things, but what are you trying to like grow the business and just do food carts, or are you trying to have like a brick and mortar restaurant?
Right now, it's the toughest questions for me to answer, dude, because I'll be honest with you, like I never set out to be a chef. I never set out to open up my own catering business.
Yeah.
Organically, it's been coming to into its own place. Just because I have this curiosity with exploring more of the culture and showcasing what I do know and sharing, I would like to continue to grow the notion of this and still continue to do good food for different communities and, empower my crew to, allow me to be more on the creative side and really like, brick and mortar would be more when I'm a little more settled. Right now the goal for me is to master what we're doing now, and not just the food, but it's also the hospitality, dude. Too many places, too many catering companies that I've come across. You got some pretty amazing food, but then the service is like, and there's something to be said about Mexican hospitality and, abuelita hospitality that I want, to develop and build. Brick and mortar would be awesome, but more of a tasting room,
Ooh.
Short term, like a tasting room where you
like
can
a pop-up?
Kind of like a more where it's not a full-on restaurant,
Okay.
You have a very simple menu, and then anything on that menu could be taken home in bulk, or you can have us cater your event. But you have already tasted our food, and you understand the process. You understand why, why the price is not, and then we're super reasonable, but you understand the story.
Yeah.
You know the why of Chicano Soul Food, and like, because this is my number one question. Well, what does that mean? It's so hard for me to, we've been talking for almost like 45 minutes now, and like I still can't wrap my head around what it completely means. But I feel like a tasting room, they can taste what it means.
Dude, I feel like you can totally put it into words. Everything that you're telling me is the explanation of what Chicano Soul Food is. I mean, it's definitely, to put it the way I'm receiving it, and you can totally correct me, but from what we've been talking about, I mean, if you're of Chicano, like if you are Chicano, if you're Mexican, if you're Latino, whatever you want to be referred to, you're going to understand because you grew up in that culture.
Yeah.
But I think what you're doing is you're also making it more palatable for everybody who's not a part of that culture.
Correct.
And by like having Chicano Soul Food, it represents something that's inviting to not just the Chicano Mexican culture, but it's inviting to every single person that they can taste the flavors of what it really means to come into your grandmother's house. And like, for me personally, it's like, when I think of my grandmother, when I had a privilege to live with her and take care of her for a summer when my dad moved to Italy, I was like helping her out. She'd come and knock on my door. And this is like, long story short, she'd knock on my door. She'd be like, Gano, you want chilaquiles? And I was like, hell yeah, grandma, I want some chilaquiles. And she like makes it at home. Like, it's not like when you go here and you order chilaquiles, you're going to eat a chip and it's going to cut through from your mouth. It's this softer corn tortilla, maybe some ham, maybe some eggs or whatever. And like there's pan dulce chilling at my grandma's house. Like it's nopales and ground beef. It's you going in the back of your house. And I burned myself one time on my grandmother's lawnmower because as a rite of passage, all the cousins have to cut my grandma's cut her lawn. And I burned myself. She took the cactus off, used the aloe to like heal it, and then she chopped it up and we ate it, and it was with the ground beef. And just my wife just ate it the first time, like going over to my grandmother's house probably like a year or two ago. That to me is what Chicano Soul Food is. It's like being able to go to your grandma's house and expose that to every single person who never understood what it was like to grow up in that type of house where you see like the Virgin Mary just chilling and there's like all this stuff, and it's like that culture. Yeah,
and it's rooted, man. And that was our experience. And for my curiosity was also in researching what my grandparents were eating, like questioning the why. And that's when I started really, without anybody really telling me, like started realizing the realizations of processed food and, and disease and all that. And so Chicano Soul Food, it's like, it's an homage. It's definitely an homage. It's
all
definitely
right.
an homage.
I like that.
But it's also an embracing, not a fusion. It's an embracing of I was born here, especially with how things are going now and politically and all these labels and shit. It's just like, I just want to embrace it so other people feel confident about embracing who they are. Regardless of title, dude, because it's so like screwy now that people feel bad for being who they are.
Yeah, dude, we're all American, dude. We're all born in the U.S. right here.
Yeah, whatever that means, though. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like you were born in TJ, but that doesn't mean anything. Like, dude, you good soul, you want good food, you want a good time, cool, and we're gonna vibe. But if you're an asshole and you're of my same skin color, then I'm still not gonna mess with you. You know
dude,
what I mean?
Like, I mean, that's all energy, though, too. I mean, that's
yeah.
like, dude, it all comes back to energy. That's all it is. Because at the end of the day, everything, the survival rate for everybody, ends up at zero eventually. It doesn't matter what skin color, it doesn't matter where you're from, everything. Survival rates for zero.
I just want to eat good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it's just like, you were saying how you set the mood for your roasting and everything, and that's how, I try to set the mood for the project from the inception, from when I go to the store and pick out the ingredients, from the time they're prepared, from the time they're, portioned out for the events, like, there's genuine happiness of that process going on. There's stress, of course, always stress, but the genuine happiness of what we're putting together, how we're putting together, and why we're putting together. And then that's what Chicano Soul Food is. It's like we're embracing the culture, we're embracing our evolved diet, basically. We're evolved, but at the same time, we have to return to what we were eating before the processed food, because our ancestors depended on that.
Yeah, and that's how we got here in the first place, right?
Exactly. Bingo.
I mean, so how about corn? Now, what are your thoughts on corn? Because corn is a big staple.
Super staple.
So I know also south of the border, there's other types of corn. And even in South America, there's so many different strains of corn that we're not even have access to here in the States.
Slowly but surely, you're starting to see a little bit more heirloom corn. I have some friends who were able to come up, some seeds, and they got some heirloom corn growing here. And
nice.
It's going to take some time for it to kind of get to where it's at, but it's a staple of our diet. Unfortunately for Mexico, they sold out to Monsanto.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they did. And I think as of recently they fought it again, but GMO corn has hit Mexico as well.
Damn.
So it's just knowing that, understanding that, and the landscape and the evolution of corn, and more than anything, the evolution of the people who work the fields and the land. Like, they've been able to survive, dude, and they've been able to thrive in their societies based on what they eat. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that what they eat gives them a better, mood, and allows them to work harder and work smarter. So if we ignore that, if I ignored that knowing that I knew that, like, I feel like I'd be doing whatever food project a disservice, A lot of people ask me why I'm doing it, and it's that, but it's just really hard to explain. There's some people that get into the food because of just the memory, or they just want to be a chef, or they want to produce the best of whatever the best, and I don't even know what the best means anymore. But it's a conscious, it's my conscious movement, dude.
That's good. I mean, it's your form of expression.
Correct.
It's what you're creating, and I think that's the most important thing anybody can ever do on this planet, is to create. It's obviously always good things.
Correct.
But however you feel you need to express yourself and you need to create things, doing it through food is no easy feat, but it's also the most beautiful feat that you can do. Like, that's how I can relate it to coffee. It's
correct.
Like, for me, coffee, it has the same things you're talking about. It has memory. I have heart to it. And like the way I can give people these cups of coffee where people come back and like, oh, let me buy these beans. Oh my God, this is the best cup of coffee I've ever had. It's not like a ego boost for me. It's like, fuck yeah, because
exactly, dude.
This is what I wanted to do for you. Like, I wanted you to drink this, and I wanted that reaction. I'm not like, oh yeah, because I'm the best. Like, nah. It's like, I like, hell yeah, bro. Like,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for appreciating what I'm really trying to do, because I try hard,
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And then that's what it is, I also have that same, philosophy. It's not to boost my ego that I'm doing this or to even become rich. I even explained it to my team. I was like, dude, I'm a modest dude who's just trying to create income because we have to create income. It's the society we were born into, to disregard that or ignore that or, bypass it. It's going to be a long battle, So I'm embracing that aspect of entrepreneurialism, that it's crazy. It existed with my family in Michoacan because everybody owned a doña, had the cheese, and the other one had the yogurt, and the other one had the masa, and the other one had the
sick.
longaniza. It was micro business, and it was a beautiful thing, and I like that. I like that spirit of community and how and giving that goodness back.
Yeah.
It's I think it's definitely important. And that's why I mess with the coffee community. That's why I mess with the beer community, because I actually feel like it's a community. There's always going to be some interesting characters within the community.
Of course.
But it's nice to, not always have to be the expert on everything. I feel like when you have a restaurant, like you have to be the expert at everything.
Yeah.
The best coffee and the best taco and the best alcohol. But when you do collaboratives, you allow people to be the best at what they are, and then you just put them in a space where it shines and that energy shines, and that's the definitely one of the flip sides of having this pop-up business. And I try not to get annoyed because I know it's like, very ingrained. Like, so what, like, well, this business, where are you going to take it? And, like, do you want to franchise it? And it's just like, well, shit, bro. Like, I'm just trying to enjoy the journey right now, today.
Yeah. Don't jump on that, dude. So many people want to franchise like immediately. Say, hey, just like, relax.
Fucking for what? For who? What do I need to buy? Or who do I need what I need to show off? You know what I mean? Like,
let me have my moment real quick. You know how hard I tried to do this?
Yeah.
But that's like, with that being said, you're growing your business. You're doing these things. Instead of it, I like to think it's, what has been the hardest part for you? What's the moment where you were just like, yo, am I tripping? Like, should I be doing this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or, maybe a struggle, or even what was the moment where you were like, fuck yeah, I'm doing this right now. This is why I'm here. Like, you had that moment where you realized this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
The signs were always there, dude. The signs were always there that I had been put on this earth for some sort of healing reason. You know what I mean? I can't explain it, but the signs were there with my curiosity with food. And then, I came across, some really awesome doctors when my friend was going through his journey that opened up my mind about food. Already had the curiosity of flavor, and now the curiosity of nutritional density was just like, dude, it was blown off the top, like, fuck, wow, like, and that I changed my grandmother's life. Well, shit, I did change her life, dude. I changed her lifestyle, and I changed her diet, and I feel like my grandmother is around now a little stronger than she would have been if she had not, changed her dietary, choices. And I knew that I wanted to create a difference with that. I just didn't know, like I said, that this catering business was going to be an outlet for me to be able to do that. And when I first started, it was just like, oh God, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, shit. And dude, I had to take a big leap of faith because I have a daughter, she's 17, and up until this moment I was, thinking I had to do the whole, corporate and get a good job and take care of her, and which she was. And this was like, fuck, if I go all in, like, I have to hustle because child support ain't gonna stop, you know what I mean?
Dude,
they don't give a shit, so that was like my biggest fear. And for the time being, I was doing sushi and like doing one event and still doing sushi and 2 events and 3 events. And then finally, believe it or not, I had a really bad accident with one of my carts almost 2 years ago. I left the propane running and a new cart that I had just gotten from Mexico. I mean, it was like day 3 with the cart, so I hadn't really played with it. And this one has shutters as my first one doesn't. So when the propane leaks in the first cart that I have, my OG, I call them the OG, you can smell like, oh shit, propane. With this new one, it was blocked, so I couldn't smell it. So when I went to light the pilot, I just saw a blue light, dude. I got fucking blown out.
What?
Yeah,
whoa,
dude.
Scary, dude.
I got scars, residual scars. You can't really see them now. It's amazing. Our human body is an amazing thing, but I had second and almost third degree burns here in my arm. This is some of the residual. Burned my face. Dude, doesn't have any facial hair. Fucking, it was bad, dude.
Whoa.
It was bad. It was bad. But that literally fucking put me on my ass. And I had been doing kind of food, and I was still doing the hot dog thing, kind of like, like, dude, this is really cool. I see the, the possibilities. But being hemmed up for almost 4 months, something told me to just fucking watch YouTube, watch videos on indigenous food, and like things just made sense for me, man. Like, it's like, dude, you've been around all this nutritional food, you've helped these people, you've helped your own family. Like, this is your route. Like, you need to, hone in. And then that's when Los Slide Dogs was like, I was trying to find a different word to convey, like, the Chicano soul food. And this happened in August, and I visited my brother in Mexico like 4 or 5 months later, after I was able to actually get out of the house. And those Tierras came to me. Weirdly enough, there was a table full of toothpicks, and I had been looking at signs everywhere. You're saying inspiration, and I was looking everywhere. I was in Mexico, so I was like, dude, maybe something will come to me. And just a long walk, I just, those Tierras came, formed with toothpicks. I still have the original picture, just random toothpicks. I was like, that's it.
Damn.
And, I promised myself, like, when I would heal, that I would, because I pretty much went vegan when I was burnt, dude. I researched foods that were great for rebuilding, skin and, and all that shit. Because, dude, I'm a believer. I seen it. I see my friend defeat cancer because of what we decided to change to eat, So that 2 years ago is when I really went on fucking full board with those Tierras Chicano Soul projects. I'm like, this is what it is. I'm not trying to be Mexican. I'm not trying to be American. I'm fucking Chicano, and people are going to get it or they're not. Yeah. But I'm not fucking here for them. You know what I mean? I'm here for the people that understand it and appreciate it. And I set a fire, dude. It's so crazy. This fucking sounds fucked up, but it literally set a fire on me, like it set a fire within, and within me, dude.
On and within, damn.
And my grandma passed away, and that just like clink, 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 clink. And it just, like, those slots where you line everything up. And I hit the jackpot, dude. I was like, all right, I found my purpose. And ever since then, dude, there's been other signs that have been pushed my way that reinforce that this is my purpose,
Dude.
And
that's deep, bro.
Yeah,
dude, that's
you know what I mean?
legit.
It's just crazy. It's just my journey, and that's why I feel comfortable with what I'm doing. It's a wholesome product. I'm working with great people. I'm not, what's the word I want to use, but like taking advantage of people, you know what I mean, within my own organization.
Or your community or something like that.
Yeah, it is what it is. This is it. This is not organic, but if you don't want to eat processed food and you want to try something that you never had before that's vegetarian, dude, this is who you want to check out. You want to check us out. And then you have stricter dietary restrictions, and we can talk about personal chefing, and then that's a whole nother avenue of Chicano soul food, And
so you do personal chefs as well?
Yeah, I do. Personal chefing. I worked and gone to schools and done food education. I've gone and interviewed, indigenous women, leaders in their community, and on the why they're doing their food, and I have the footage for all that, but I haven't had the time to put it all together to kind of keep opening the story,
Yeah.
And again, thank you so much for having me here, because this has allowed me to kind of like bust out some of that shit that's been just sitting in my brain, because I just been taco oriented.
Dude, yeah. I mean, it's the best way to the best way to also create is bouncing ideas off others, or just like communicating. Yeah. And really just like, I'm a big believer in like, once, I think it stems from like my skating, is like, once you put it out there, then it's like it can't be taken back.
Nah.
Whether it's good or bad, so like it can't be taken back once you put it out there. And so
word, bro. That's it.
Well, that's what it's like. It's the energy, right? It's the vibration. So it's like, I think when I used to skate, I would talk shit to my friends. I got that, no problem. Like overconfident, but then knowing in my head, damn well, I can't do it, so now I got to do it. You know?
Yeah.
But there's like that aspect, but then there's also the aspect is like you could talk about doing something, and you could talk about I'm gonna just put my nose at the grindstone and just start working, right? Yeah. But then you keep thinking, you're working on the goal, you're putting it out there, and then eventually it comes to fruition. Yeah. So, I mean, when you're saying to me too that like you're trying to keep, it keeps unfolding and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think there needs to be like one definition of Chicano Soul Food. Yeah. I think as long as you're doing it, the company could ever be evolving.
Correct.
And
it's your experience.
Exactly.
I just want to trigger that.
Yeah.
I just want to trigger that, and
keep inspiring though too.
Yeah. The binational, Dos Tierras is very like open. I mean, there's people who have their, Chicago, Nayarit experience, but they also have the Dominican Republic and New York. That's their Dos Tierras. They're experiencing what we're experiencing, with their food, how they're eating their food, how they're getting their food, how they're preparing their food. So I thought that was a cool way to kind of wrap in, which is a very American thing, even though people don't want to admit it.
It's a melting pot,
will always be that, and.
So do you incorporate, like when do you make tamales?
I haven't in a while, but I do.
Okay.
On occasion, yeah. To be honest with you, dude, full disclosure, I'm not a big tamale guy, dude.
What?
I love pozole, man. That pozole is my jam, bro. Pozole is my jam.
Pozole is my absolute jam. That's my like
fucking all day I can. Seafood, dude. Mushrooms, like nopales, and there's pozolillo where you, instead of doing the hominy, you take fresh corn and you shuck it, and then you make the pozole out of the fresh hominy. So that's
interesting.
Fresh corn. I'm sorry, that's pozolillo.
Okay,
it's a different style. Yeah, it's pozolillo, and then there's pozole.
Yeah, pozole is my fucking dude. Yeah. I don't care. Like, give me on a rainy day. People are like, "Oh, I just want some like beef stew." And like my mom would be like, "A beef stew and like a peanut butter jelly sandwich." That's my mom loved. Yeah. Dude, for me on a rainy ass day, and especially if I'm getting over a cold. Yo, I'm trying to hit that pozole, dude. That is the absolute best. The hominy is, and my favorite part.
We do those things.
Do you really?
Yeah. So the business right now, what I'm building, what I'm hoping to build with my team is just this taco platform, and then we're offering sides now. Like vegan ceviche, vegan esquites, vegan pozole, but also if you're still not wanting to transition out of the proteins, then we offer that as well.
Nice.
I feel like it's okay to offer it. If the world comes to an end, my business won't end tomorrow if we don't sell meat anymore.
Yeah.
But how I perceive it and how I take it, when I'm at the store and there's already this flesh that's sitting there that's been sacrificed already, am I really going to wrinkle my nose and say, fuck that, let it just go to waste?
Yeah.
Or can I take a different approach and say, hey, I'm going to honor you and I'm going to cook the shit out of you and I'm going to make it the most delicious thing where I'm going to bring back the spirit of whatever that was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's something that I'm learning how to be comfortable with as just not just the vegan guy or not just the meat dude. You know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean, that also, I could totally relate on that. Dude, my grandmother will give us so much shit. I mean, not actually give us shit. She's like, hey, like, you don't waste.
Yeah.
And there's not like some crazy long-winded answer behind it. It's like, granted, you can get that from my uncles and they'll tell you like how hard it was growing up with 7 kids and this, that, and this, and how they didn't waste. But my grandmother will just look at you and be like, no, we don't waste.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you just understand. Mm-hmm. And so I could totally get that. Like, granted, the one thing I think for me, especially when I first started understanding what vegan was, there was not enough people that were doing the vegan thing or pushing the message out about veganism for health reasons. It was more about activism and these things that, it kind of like, it reminded me a lot of people who were like against furs or whatever. Growing up in the Bay Area, you'd always see right there on in Union Square when like people be throwing fucking paint on these people coming out of like sacks with that with like a leather jacket on or something, or like fur or whatever. But it reminded me a lot of that, and I was just so turned off. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But then you start to hear people who are going vegan because gluten-free, or they really are sick and they need healthy options and food, and there's other things to it where it's not just about like don't kill an animal.
Yeah.
It was actually like, no, I need to do this for health reasons. And then it makes a lot more sense because those people are, I feel, are more educated and they can explain to you why. I mean, not that they need to anyways, but it's, once I met people like yourself and other people who can explain and like have nutritional facts and like have these things that make it more palatable.
Yeah.
It really is like, dude, there's nothing wrong with that. And you can make any type of food taste good, honestly.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, when you eat like a vegan scone or something like that, it's the sugar has been replaced with agave or some type of like
no honey
because it's from a bee or something, but it
yeah.
can be natural and it can be good. And I've had multiple things that are vegan that are amazing.
Yeah, the flavors there.
You shouldn't even. I feel like sometimes telling people that it's vegan who aren't vegan, it kind of turns them off. It almost, in a way, it's like, because I used to be that way. It's like if you just don't even tell them and there's like maybe just a little V at the bottom, like, and then you eat it and you're like, oh my God, it's amazing.
It's got a negative connotation, you know, like it, as far as like lack of flavor, lack of depth, you know, but there are some amazing chefs out there who are doing some wonderful things, you know, with that. And I just want to be a contributor. I don't want to be like, you know, leading a crusade, you know. That's not why I'm here. I myself am pretty much plant-based, and if the business and the project, more than anything, the project it starts turning more to that, dude, like I'm gonna embrace it 100%.
Yeah.
But what most people don't understand is that I much rather give you something that I produced with whole ingredients than have you settle for fucking Jack in the Box, or I don't want to bash, but you know, like that highly processed food, or even being, you know, my project started in neighborhoods that had food for deserts, you know what I mean? So here I am able to provide something that's a million times more nutrient dense, you know, than they normally would have had. And that right there made me feel good. It's not 100% vegan, but these people don't understand. That sounds fucked up, but you know, the type of communities don't understand that, you know, because they haven't been educated. And you know, there's a social, cultural, economic factor in which, you know, people who back in the days afforded meat were known to be like well off. So that crazy culture and that idea still exists today, where people are overcompensating and buying meat all the time to kind of, in a weird way, prove that they're, you know, that they're keeping up with the Joneses, and we eat meat too, you know. And it's a crazy, dude, like,
dude, that's ridiculous.
And that's why it's like, you know, it's for me to just turn away and say no, I'm not gonna do meat, and never forever, like, it's just too hard. It seems too harsh. It just reminds me of the vegan who didn't have anything, or the person with the food allergy didn't have that choice.
For sure.
You know, it's up to people's choices. Like I said, if the day tomorrow comes and there's no more animals, dude, we still, our project will still have tasty food.
Well, yeah, I mean, as long as there's vegetables, we can still thrive and we can make it taste good. There's no reason why veggies can't taste good.
No, and then, you know, having the business allows me to educate as well. And the person who normally wouldn't have had a vegetarian taco has now had a vegetarian taco. And it's like, dude, this is really good. Why do you go vegetarian? And I start telling them, and like, you know, the realities, you know, like the meats, you know, like what goes in the meats and stuff like that. And and then this opportunity to put them in an area where they're comfortable, you know. Most raza wouldn't go into a Kindred, let's be fucking honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I go in exactly what you mean.
So, but they would probably go to the homie, you know, down the street, you know, who has, you know, chorizo con papa, but also has nopales, and also has habas, and also has lentejas and mushrooms, you know, like, all right, fuck, it's a taco. And then they're like, oh shit, you know, and that's the market I really try to get, you know, capture, is the ones that are curious. But been really blessed, man. People are taking onto it because of that option. I mean, our number one, you know, number one, and where we built an awesome community. We have a great family, dude. There's people that go every Saturday is at Heartwork, bro, you know. And
dude, yeah, so that actually, I'm glad you say that, because that wanted to be,
what up, Heartwork,
dude. I wanted to be like, why coffee shops? How did that happen? Was it strictly Heartwork that started that out?
Actually, my really great friend and tattooer, Rob Benavides from Flying Panther Tattoo, he was in Barrio with a tattoo shop, El Pantera Tattoo, when I was just getting in there too in the neighborhood. You know, I had known of the neighborhood, and I used to go get haircuts way back in the day. You know, I knew of Barrio Logan, but it's crazy because I asked the universe, I want to be here. I want to be next to those next to those bridges. I want to work here. And the universe brought that opportunity to me. And there I met Rob Benavides. Rob Moran, one of the owners of Heartworks, is really good friends with Rob Benavides. So Rob invited me to do his Christmas party. He threw me my first like bone, you know what I mean, when I was in the neighborhood. And because I had vegetarian option, it sparked Rob Moran, the owner of Heartworks, interest, because him and his wife are vegetarian.
Mm-hmm.
And they love the food, and they're like, hey, we got this little coffee shop in Mission Hills, you know, like, would you be interested in, you know, maybe popping up? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So it started like, you know, one time a month. They're like, dude, can you do it every 2 weeks? Cool, every 2 weeks. And like, dude, can you do it every week? And then dude, been rolling with it every week, bro. And it's
that's so sick.
You get people who just do to hang out, man. It's I have no children now for 2 years, and you know, I've seen them evolve. And I gave his son his very first corn tortilla, bro. You know, and like
epic.
I've just created his palate memory, because he's gonna be fucked for the rest of his life, dude. Like he's gonna start buying corn tortillas, and then just not gonna be the same.
He's gonna be like, nah, bro. I used to get him at in front of the coffee shop every Saturday.
Yeah, with this guy Sergio and his Chicano Soul Food project, and my dad gave him one of his first gigs, and like that's how that started, and then from there, like. Another person hit me up. Por Vida was another one. Por Vida,
Sick,
I gotta say, Por Vida, they're really good friends. The owners and I are really good friends. We all work together.
Shout out Milo.
Milo and Caro.
Caro, Avril.
Yeah, April, and then Manny. Manny wasn't part of it back in the day. It was, I had met Milo and Caro in the neighborhood because we all worked together at San Diego Taco Company. But when I came back from Mexico, they were like, bro, you got a platform here right in front of the coffee shop. And Por Vida was my very first pop-up.
Are you serious?
Very first pop-up. Por Vida, I love you.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I fuck with them so hard. I mean, I didn't... real quick on a tangent on that. Actually, Manny, two things. Manny's going to come on the show, I think,
Sick.
It's like 2 weeks from to Monday.
Yeah.
So he's going to be on because I have another whole thing. But, dude, the first time I found out about Por Vida, I was so shocked because I was eating tacos with my wife, and I was like, yo, I want to do this coffee shop idea. I've never seen anybody do it. I want to do like a horchata latte. I'm bro. I'm sitting there like talking to my wife. Like, she's like, no, that's a good idea. And then somehow somebody told me like, you haven't heard of Por Vida? And I was like, nah. Oh, I think it was my barber.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, you got to check it out. And then I started looking at their menu on Instagram, and I'm like, yo, what the... They're already doing everything I was thinking about. And then I was like, I have to go. And dude, I went like the next day and just sat there after work, and I was like, this is the sickest shit I've ever seen. Yeah. Like, I loved the artwork. I loved having the Virgin Mary right behind the espresso machine. I was tripping. And then just like the low vibe. And I was just like, it just felt right.
That was home for me, man. When I first started the project, that was home. And, right across the street, unfortunately, the gallery just recently closed, but Chicano Art Gallery, they always had the little parties and art shows. And that was my community, bro. I mean, tattoo shop.
Yep.
Coffee, and then on that block, there was, Thorn was being built, and they asked if I, be down to do an event, and then that's started the beer community. But Por Vida kickstarted it, being with Heartwork, and then that crowd, brought me opportunities with the Coffee Network and
the San Diego Coffee Network.
Yeah, Cold Brew City and
Pablo.
With Pablo.
Yeah, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, and just because I was in the mix, I was in the mix of the heads that were like, the curiosity got them to the point where they wanted to do, more with Por Vida, and then the Coffee Network came, is now like thriving and stuff like that.
Yeah, dude.
And that's how that started, man. It was just a small community just supporting, and they did have these little one-off parties, and I loved it, and it gave me a platform, and then it just slowly but surely was, and then, the food's not that bad, so it started working out,
dude. Well, I mean, that's how, that's how you're going to be here at Seven Seas. I mean, that's another reason why I wanted to have you on specifically today, because starting Sunday,
we'll be
hopefully
here.
This is gonna be the first one, and it's gonna be not the last, definitely.
No.
I think we want to, like, I already feel like the neighborhood's gonna receive you like extremely well, and the fact is that there's nobody really over here doing what we're gonna be doing. So I'm into it, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about a little bit too. I wanted to touch on it. So this Sunday, it's going to be July 14th.
Yes, come on out.
It's going to be you start setting up at 8, but available to start selling at 9.
9,
right?
yeah. We got some breakfast tacos and a brunch.
Okay.
A lot of people, especially from the Midwest and Texas, is like, dude, it's so hard to find a breakfast taco. And if you think about it, there really isn't a place that sells breakfast tacos, breakfast burritos.
Yeah.
Breakfast tacos. So we're going to be taking, some of the classics like chorizo con papas, and we're going to do scrambled eggs braised in a salsa roja with cactus, and then...
Is it soy rizo or is it chorizo?
This is real chorizo.
Okay.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I kind of shy away from the soy chorizo or the faux meats. I try to incorporate as many whole ingredients as I can, just because that's just my choice. But we'll have that available for you on corn or flour tortillas, and then we have the classics. So you asked if I didn't really answer your question, but when I first started, my menu would vary. Boom, I'd be like all excited, dude, gun ho, like, fuck yeah, today's another special and tomorrow's another special. Yeah. But then when I started getting more people asking for the food, it was like, dude, it was a lot to prepare.
Yeah.
And then I got a teammate, and I was like, fuck, he don't know my recipes. He doesn't know my flavor. So slowly but surely, I modified my menu to have what I call my, top 5 guisados, which consist, and they will be here this Sunday. We have, on the vegan side, we have veggie lentil pipián. It's lentils that have fire roasted chayote, corn, carrots, celery, and onions.
Damn.
And then the lentils are guisado or están guisadas in a salsa roja pipián. So a pipián is like a mole. It's a mole spin-off. So our sauce has the salsa roja, but also has pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, sesame seed to create the sauce, almost like a gravy. That's the lentil one. The mushroom or fungi ranchero is our take on steak ranchero.
Okay.
We do the slivered peppers, the onions, the tomato, the garlic. And then we do a truffled rice gravy. It's
truffled rice gravy.
Yeah, so the peppers don't overwhelm that subtle mushroom flavor. And, we incorporate it. So that's the 2 vegan ones. The meat ones is a Cali pollo verde. So it's a traditional salsa verde stewed chicken.
Damn.
We have the pork birria. In San Diego, you see a lot of the beef.
Yep.
But I like pork. I like pork. If I had to choose one animal and one animal only to survive on, I would choose pork. And maybe it's my Michoacan memories or whatnot, but that animal can be fully utilized. His sacrifice will be like, it'll be sacrificed well worth it. As far as waste, it's going to be minimal waste.
Well, you can also cook it so many different adobada, parrilla, whatever.
And I like the natural fat in it as opposed to beef, so it braises really well. And then the last one is one of my later additions, which is the barrio picadillo. So it's braised ground beef, spices, tomato sauce, poblano, and then fresh fried potatoes.
Damn.
So you'll find those, and then the other 2 that I mentioned available on Sunday beginning at 9.
So we are going to be doing 2 drinks as well.
Dope.
And that's going to be our homie Josh. He's one of our baristas. He's taking the lead on the drinks. But we wanted to stay kind of like true to like the Chicano aspect.
Yeah.
So we're going to do like a champurrado.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a life hack champurrado. So it's like what we can do. I tried it today, and he actually has masa in it.
Okay.
So it's good, but like I want you to try it and see what your thoughts are because I tried it this morning, and he was like, "I really want to know what you think." And I was like, "I tried it." I was like, "No, this is good." I honestly, I said to him, I was like, "It tastes a lot like a latte that I had at Por Vita," and I was like, and that's in always a in every way a compliment.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, "Dude, no, you did good," and he's also making like I think it's like a cascara lemonade kind of. I guess it's a lemonade, but it's like a cascara lemonade. So it's like a coffee cherry with lemon, fresh squeezed, and also doing natural ingredients and doing everything in house and staying true.
That's
to
right.
Like,
I'm excited for that,
dude. It's gonna be sick, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
so
I'm
so like bummed that I'm missing it, but I know that you're gonna be left in good hands, and I know that it's gonna pop off because everybody here on the team is extremely excited. Yeah. I mean, just to promote this episode, I sent it out to the entire team. People are pumping it.
Right on.
You posted it, and then I was talking to Eric and Carlos, our digital media guy, and I said, dude, we have to be sure we're pumping this every day. And I want, tomorrow we're going to be pumping the podcast episode, and then the following days leading up to Sunday. And on Sunday, it's like, boom, get here.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make sure that everybody's like supporting you and supporting the shop and like just making it pop, because, dude, that's all we got. I mean, like, I love how you stay in the community, and like taking care of that community is like going to take care of you. Yeah, it's only going to afford you more opportunities.
It just feels right.
Yeah.
It feels right. I've been invited to go other places, and I've had investors and developers hit me up, but maybe it's my short-sightedness, but I actually enjoy this, building this base.
Yeah.
Building this base of where it was created, and I'm always happy to go anywhere that I'm invited to. It's an honor. But if it wasn't for the coffee community, if it wasn't for the for the Rob Morans and for the Rob Benavides's and the Milos, who were like, fuck it, they might have not even believed it in at first, but they're like, they saw something and they're like, fuck it, do it. I don't know, I feel like I don't, not that I don't know them anything, nobody knows anybody anything, but, I'm very thankful and blessed to have that. So I try to give it back, give it back. And I like coffee shops, dude. It's not a bar, I feel like people are more alert. They're coming, with a different vibe than like going to a bar, if you get me.
No, yeah. When you're going to a bar, depending on if you're single or even if you're just meeting up with your homies, you're going there to turn up a little bit. You're going to go talk some shit. You're going to be loud. You're going to your girlfriend just dumped you. You're trying to, get it in, whatever.
Yeah.
But then you come to a bar, and in the morning, most people are waking up. Most people are either maybe they're up and they just wanted to come and see the people that they help start their day. You become ingrained, especially in South Park. We become ingrained in the community where a lot of our locals will come in every day, and you know their name, dude. Like, the most beautiful word to every single person on the entire planet is their name. You come in, it's like, yo, what's up, Tim? What's up, Sergio? How you doing? Like, what do you got going on today? Oh man, this, that, and this. And then you slowly get to learn about people, and it's a beautiful thing, man. I think it's...
Yeah, I like that from the community, the coffee community. If I experienced, great love from the first two that I did at Por Vida and Heartwork, and it's cool. It's an evolving community. I've seen it. I've seen the evolution of, the not Starbucks.
Yeah.
And it's really rad, and I think that's telling, and it's good for me to be around that kind of crowd, so maybe our food also develops. I mean? You know what I mean? Without doubt.
I mean, so, damn, we've done an hour 18 already, bro.
Damn.
So, I mean...
Chatty Cathy's over here.
Dude, it kind of just to, wrap it up, I mean, I don't want to ask you, what's your business plan? What do you want to do with the future? But as just to circle back on the ever evolving, is there things that you have in the works right now that you're just you're amping on, you're getting so pumped and you can't even wait to share, and you're just maybe working on it in private and ready to unleash it?
Yeah, man, just the actual structure of this, because there isn't a manual, you know what I mean? And I could go read all the books and the dummies on how to start your catering business and all that, but nothing is as unique as our project. So I'm excited that I got a team on board that's willing to take direction, you know what I mean, and entrusting in me. And that to me is the most beautiful gift that I could have ever asked for, and the blessing, and structure them and allow them to be great at what they're great at, so we can collectively elevate this project. I think if I can get that work put in and my team's on board, I use the analogy of working out and eating right.
Okay.
If you work out and you eat right and you stretch, there's no need to look in the mirror to validate the physical changes that are going to happen with your body, let alone internally. Mm-hmm. So if I can continue to build the structure and nurture my team with good thoughts and positive thoughts and encouragement, dude, that money shit's just going to fucking flow. It just makes sense to me. It's just going to flow because we're going to have an energy that people are going to want that. They don't know what the fuck it is, but we want Chicano Soul food.
Yeah.
You know, and we take pride in our work, dude. Our food is our product. And if we're happy doing it and I can get them, you know, we're all humans. We have times when we falter, but collectively, like, we pick each other up when one team member is not feeling their 100%. That's my goal, dude. That's my goal right now at this point. Everything else on the business will come when it's time. What personal goal to be able to take this shit and go to all over the world.
Yeah.
Take me to London. I'm gonna go pop up over there, and I'm gonna show Chicano Soul Food. Take me to Japan. Take me to Denmark. Take me to Serbia. You know, and then intelligently and earnestly represent. You know, represent this unique. You know, before, you know, maybe 10 years ago, Baha Med didn't exist. You know, Javier Plasencia, you know, he's an inspiration. I don't know him personally, but what he did is he put Baha Med on the map, and people know about Baha Med now. New York Times, everything. And I started thinking to myself, well, why not Chicano Soul Food?
Yeah,
you know,
why not?
Why is it not deserving? You know, like, if we believe as a culture we're not deserving and we're the bastard child, and we're always going to be the fucking bastard child, right?
Yep.
You know, but I don't want to take that. I want to take it, you know, the pride in, like, dude, this is what we are. Yeah. This is what we are. This is our team. They're fucking two of them went to culinary school, are classically trained, you know, and yet they see value in the street food that we do. So that's what I want to continue to build, bro. Like the continuity and then everything else. I feel like it's fucking the world's our oyster. You know what I mean?
Well, put that energy out there, man. I mean, I feel like that's an underlying theme of this whole discussion is just energy. Of course, positive energy is like, if you're going to put it out in the universe, bro, you can't take it back. And then if you just keep grinding and you keep working, it's going to happen. Like it might not happen 5 minutes from now, 5 years.
5 years, bro. And I'm okay with that. Yeah. See, I'm accepting of that. You know, revolution takes time. I'm accepting of that. Things that will be appreciated to be great or deemed great are probably gonna happen when I'm fucking dead, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I've come to the realization of that. But in the meantime, I just want to fucking have fun, and I want to have people around me that enjoy having fun with me, and like, fuck, not, you know, like, let's create something.
Now, when you're at home, do you take the same time and love to put into your own food that you're creating for you and your daughter, or is it like you save that creative energy for?
No, a little bit, but I hardly cook, bro. I'll be honest with you.
Really?
Like, yeah, man. Like, I'm on the go. I'll have like these little meals that I prepare for myself, but just to cook and like relish in my food, I haven't had that experience in a long time because this business is 24/7. This project is 24/7, and you know, up until this point, I'm the pilot, co-pilot, stewardess, air traffic controller, you know, and I'm slowly but surely like shimming off some of my responsibility. But it's, you know, it's taken me a little bit longer than others because I've had to do everything on my own. And now that I have the help, it's just like, okay, I think in the near future, if things continue to go where they're going and where they're heading, I'll have more time to do more test kitchen and really like, really like elevate this vegan food that I really want to do, or really, I have a series of recipes, bro, that I haven't really scratched the surface, man, in all honesty.
Oh, wow.
The tacos was something that I knew that was super familiar with people. It was something that I seen that could be done as a business model. And because it's doing well, I want to continue to ride that wave so I can self-fund my next project.
There you go.
You know, and that's part of the financial goal, self-fund my next project. I don't want to be at the hands of a person who doesn't understand the project that wants to put their hands on my project, you know, financially. Like, here, I'm going to invest in you, you know, and
then I'm going to tell you what to do. It's like, no,
you know, or like, do you make money? Yeah, I make money. Well, I want to invest in you, and then all you're going to do is be bitch about where your money's at, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't want that. I don't want to risk that. So I'm trying to be conscientious and cautious of the money that is coming in and how I can use that to rebuild and continue to build the brand, you know, on a professional level and also on a spirit level. I don't want my soul to be crushed because someone is trying to take that away from me. It's the only thing I own, dude, is this madness. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I fuck with that. But it's an embraced madness and it's a great madness. It's something that's it's something that keeps you getting up every day being thankful, and it's also pushing you like, yo, I got to get this paper and I got to do it the way I'm going to do it because it makes you happy. So at the end of the day, you're not some Joe Schmo who's going home like, fuck, I didn't do nothing for myself today. Every day you wake up, you're doing it for yourself and you're doing it for your team now. And you're able to delegate. So now that's going to free you up to be more creative. And as soon as you have people in place that essentially, like I heard once a very smart businessman say, to have a successful business, when you go into like a boardroom, you want to be the stupidest person in that room.
Yeah, man.
And everybody around you knows exactly, knows essentially more than you because you hired them to do the very best.
And that's where I'm at right now. You know, one of my, mentors, chef mentors and business mentors, the very first guy who gave me an opportunity, Bud's Louisiana Cafe. Now he owns Bud and Rob's New Orleans Bistro.
Nice.
I started off as dishwasher. That's where my journey started. Dishwasher and fucking hungry. And he told me, if you can learn to work yourself out of your job, then you're accomplishing. When you've learned in your own business, a small restaurant, to be the dishwasher, and you become the dishwasher, you're succeeding. And then at first it took me some time to figure it out, but believe it or not, dude, the dishwashers hold a high fucking power in your restaurant. They make sure that your plates are there for service. They make sure that whatever you need, you got. And most importantly, dude, if food's coming back and a certain menu item just keeps on getting thrown away, he's the first one that can alert you, like, yo, the fucking, the birria is coming back, like, what's up? And then that to me alerts me that something went wrong with the cooking process. And and a dishwasher holds that. A saute cook or a line cook is not really going to see that because their job is to pump it out. So they don't really see when the product comes back unless it's a very tiny restaurant. You know? And that's what I'm trying to do, bro. I'm trying to be the dishwasher of my own business. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
well, I mean, do what they got to do. And I'm not intimidated by intelligence. I encourage it. Like, you are more intelligent than me in doing that, dude. Fuck yeah, come. Let me use you. You use me. And let's see what we can do to rock this project together.
Make it better. Elevate everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I like what you said about the dishwasher analogy because the thing for me is that being a manager of this facility, along with doing quality control and roasting and doing all this stuff, is that you still find me in the back doing dishes for the entire team because I'm no better. Like, I like to look at myself as a leader, that I'm in the back encouraging and leading the pack from behind and showing everybody the way instead of being the dude in the front barking orders, not like taking care of my team. Yeah. That to me is extremely important. And I did dishes. Like when I started in coffee, I came from marketing, PR, sales, and a salary job to showing the owner of the first coffee shop I worked at. He's like, you can wash dishes. And all right. So, and it's like, boom, you start washing dishes and you work your way up. And I worked my way up to head roaster and now I'm here. Yep. And it shows,
by the way.
Thank you.
Brother.
It definitely shows there's more of an appreciation for the craft, to be a steward, to like know where you started and where it all began for you. It said, what was the name?
Bud and Rob's New Orleans. Oh, well, back then it was Bud's New Orleans. Bud and Rob's New Orleans Bistro. Bud's Louisiana Cafe. That will change. Bud's Louisiana Cafe. Yeah,
dude,
Bud's Louisiana Cafe.
But right there, he gave you that chance.
Yeah.
And he taught you those things, the working yourself out of a job. That's what Eric, the owner of this shop, said to me. He's like, well, you got to work yourself out of your job. So, dude, I've literally done everything here, and now I'm training an assistant how to do the roaster. And
that's a beautiful thing.
It's almost scary, though, because I'm like, oh, shit. Now everybody knows what I could do, and like, what am I here for? You know, but it's like a space that I've never been in. But I just kind of, even to bring it back to the beginning of the conversation, it's like, dude, I just knew. Mm-hmm. Call it hella weird, but I've never felt more comfortable in my entire life than being in a coffee shop and creating coffee. And that's, dude, it's hella weird, bro, but it's also something that's been around for generations. And you go back to like early Iraq, early Iran, they have photos of coffee houses back in those days in the Middle East. It's like, I don't know, some part of me, I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. Maybe not like in a cafe specifically, but messing around with coffee and going to Origin and exploring culture. More natural things.
Exploring culture, you know?
Dude.
Coffee existed in Mexico for a long, long time, you know what I mean? Down in Yucatan and Tabasco, you know? Like, I think there's certain flavors and certain sounds that are like written in the codex that our ears and our blood and our palates just acknowledge, dude. You know, I've heard that and this might be fucking crazy, a crazy thought, but I know I've heard of like having trauma through your DNA. Mm-hmm. generational trauma, I think is what they call it. I really feel like there's generational palate and sound memory.
Yeah, like a genetic memory.
Yeah, like a genetic memory, you know, that there's a certain vibration and there's a certain sound that really fucking gets your blood moving and your energy, you know, flowing where other music doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
well, it makes more sense. I mean, on that point, it's like it kind of goes back to what we were saying too about like you hear that one song that your grandfather heard and it strikes you the same way. I mean, on some level, dude, there's got to be truth to what you're saying because you're half of that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That DNA, you have the same, 26, 27 chromosomes or whatever that have basically made you up. And 13 of those is that dude right there. And it's like, yeah, that would totally make sense. You know, and even goes back, you could even go back even farther and think about like, why, you know, you get tripped out when you see a spider or something. It's like, yo, maybe there's like hella generations back in the day somebody got bit by a spider and they died. Something crazy.
Yeah, man.
Out there type shit.
I feel it, man. I feel it. And it's good to be out there. I think that's what has allowed me to kind of be more comfortable in my own skin because I know I'm out there, you know, with some of the shit that I put together. You know, I didn't know how to embrace that as a young, you know, father. I needed to do business and I needed to create income and, you know, and through that self-discovery, you know, has allowed me to be like, oh, dude, you can create business and still not, you know, still have you still be you, you know, you still could create income. You could still, you know, provide a livelihood. You don't have to wear a suit, you know, like.
Nah, you could definitely wrap some tattoos and be sick as fuck.
And just, you know, there's just a dude who happens to have tattoos instead of a dude who has tattoos who's like this, you know what I mean? And like, just, you know, pretty much say fuck all stereotypes. And even, you know, with that mentality with the food I'm doing, you know, like, I know I you know, it's like for the Mexican chefs, I probably won't ever get respect for them because I'm not Mexican. And then I come out here and then I experience a different, you know, paradigm with the American chefs, you know, and it's just like, all right, am I going to sit here and like in my youth, like I'm not from here, not from there, or be like, fuck, I'm from here and from there. And this is what I do.
Yeah.
And this is the flavors I put together and fuck it. You like them or you don't, you know, whatever. And
whatever. I mean, dude, it's like that scene in Selena when the dad is there. Like, he's like, we're too Mexican for the Americans and we're too American for the Mexicans.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck, dude? It's hella true.
That's part of the, you know, the part of those tierras, you know, and that's why I like the whole Chicano Soul Food project because this, what we're doing today is part of the Chicano Soul Food project. You know,
yeah, man.
I hope that, you know, in the future, you know, be able to do this and bring people who are doing their binational experience in their own thing, you know, maybe a donut maker, maybe a por vida, you know, maybe
dude,
a musician,
I'm so
you know
down.
I mean?
We can make that happen. I have 2 other mics, bro.
Yeah,
anytime
dude,
you want to do
it,
shoot me an idea.
Yeah.
Shoot me a fucking idea. I'm so down, and I would love that because, dude, I want nothing but like, I was in Barrio Logan the other day. I went to the Frida Kahlo show at La Bodega, and then I just took my sister-in-law and my wife, and we went and walked around like Chicano Park, and I explained the artwork, and I showed all these things, and it just, dude, I just love walking around there because in a really weird way, it just reminds me of my grandma. It reminds me of my dad and like the way we grew up, and like it reminds me a lot of San Jose up in the Bay Area.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, a lot like San Jose, you know.
And it's like it's like a comfort thing.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, man. I fucking love it, and just knowing what Por Vida does, and then I've met you, and then Manny's coming on the show. It's like, dude, whatever I can do to pump out and pump up everybody in that in the culture in the community, and just to even be experiencing it and be a part of it, I'm 100% behind it.
Yeah, I think it's cool to tell our own narrative, you know what I mean? To tell our narrative and to allow us to have some sort of outlet to just discuss things that are real to us, you know? I mean, there's just some things I can't relate with other Americans, bro, and I will never be able to. And why does it have to be that I have to feel any less American because I don't have those experiences, you know? And when we create a community of people who are kind of going through the same struggles, it makes it easier, I think, to work collectively. You know what I mean? You can understand and comprehend and more than anything empathize. Yeah. You know, but dude, I think that'd be a cool idea. You know,
I'm fucking
down. It's craziness.
Yes. All right. Well, dude, fucking let's wrap it up.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Thanks again.
Dude, tell the people where they can find you on Instagram, website, whatever.
Okay. I really have a shitty website. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it's just been, building the flavor has always been my number one thing. If anything I've learned in the industry is like, if you don't have flavor, you don't have anything else. So really shitty website, but it is ChicanoSoulfood.com. When started the project was kind of like, what am I, and I found that and it was available, so I took it,
Sick.
4 years ago. So the website ChicanoSoulfood.com, Instagram's at Chicano Soul Food.
All one word?
All one word, at Chicano Soul Food. You'll see the Dos Tierras, and just we'll be evolving the website. I promise you. Yeah.
Just like get that social media. Get the social media up.
I know, dude. We suck, man.
Dude,
we suck, but our tacos don't, so it's all good. It's all good.
And then this Sunday for everybody, if you're in the San Diego area,
roll through.
Come to Seven Seas Roasting. The Chicano Soul Food will be here, starting serving at 9, and you're here till you sell out.
Yeah, usually, with our experience at our heart, we're usually by 1 o'clock or so. We sold out. We sold out. We sold out, brother. We sold out. We hope to have the same family, same vibe out here. We just want to contribute to the community. I'm very thankful for Eric and you for even asking us. I'm very honored.
Yes.
And I hope, we can continue to build on it.
Oh, we definitely will, sir.
All right.
Brother. Thank you so much, Sergio.
Thank you, homie.
Peace.
Peace.